Welcome to Charts Today, and my name is David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 21st of June, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar. Dollar now pushing higher. We're seeing these last few days here that pushing above that May high, that dollar strength continuing. We still have work to do on the long-term chart, but dollar pushing higher, and we've got a new upside target activated here, 3.3% higher. So it does look like we're going to see that dollar strength continuing. Looking further from that, looking at the euro, we're seeing the euro teaching along the bottom, activated a downside target to 111, new target to 114, about to be activated. So euro looking weaker again, not quite making new lows here as the dollar is making new highs, but with that dollar strength, it looks like a formality. And against the yen, we're seeing the dollar stronger again, having had a fall away last week. The yen becoming a safe haven. With markets in turmoil, the interesting thing is the dollar is now pushing higher again, so looking bullish here as well. Looking at sterling, sterling is lower this morning against the dollar, making new lows here. A fall through 130 now looking inevitable, so sterling weakness showing through there. Against the euro, we're seeing sterling weaker. Against the Swiss franc, we're also seeing sterling weaker below the cloud there on the medium term chart. And against the Australian dollar, still holding a bit steadier here, so Australian dollar weaker than sterling. Looking at Bitcoin, we're seeing Bitcoin pushing a little bit higher on the short-term chart, but a real absence. There is a target of 7,200 on the short-term chart there, which is 7% higher, but and the same on the medium-term chart. But these targets are a little bit lone targets. The medium and long-term charts still bearish. US stocks last night pushed higher, particularly tech. So we saw the S&P still a bit flat, only up 0.2%, and really still a long way from its high in January. Looking at the Nasdaq did push higher. With the tech majors pushing higher, so Nasdaq is still looking better. Tech is leading higher, and looking at the Dow, struggling here as well. We were down 0.2%. So quite a mixed picture there on the US indices, but the Nasdaq is driving things forward, and the Russell 2000 was actually up 0.8% as well. The futures this morning, the S&P is up 0.2%. The Nasdaq E-mini is actually up 0.25%. So it does look like the markets will open higher. We've got some good upside targets on the short-term chart there. UK market is up this morning, following the US a bit higher, but short-term still looking bearish. Mid caps also looking a bit bearish. Looking at the German market, we see here we're below the cloud, and the CAC Courant also we're a bit lower as well. Japan was down slightly overnight, but very little changed. The Hang Seng really has been the market to worry about, falling further here. That medium-term chart really falling away, and of course the market that we've been most worried about is China, down 1.3%, heading lower there. So Chinese stocks really are the major concern at the moment. And then looking at the Sensex, just holding on there, was only down 0.2%. Australian market looking stronger on that Australian dollar weakness, so looking very strong there. Brent crude falling back still, coming back from those high 70s, sitting at $74. We may be starting the beginning of the summer sell-off, and if we look at WTI, also lower in the mid 60s, so we're seeing that as well. Looking at US nat gas sitting at $2.97. Not a lot of work to do now to wander out of the doldrums on the medium term chart. So we're just seeing a steady increase holding around this $3 mark. We can just consistently get through $3. We've got targets to 312, 303, 302. So it does look like US nat gas will go higher. The stronger dollar is having an effect on the gold price. Gold is lower at 1263, really pulling away. Interesting, last year at this point, in the summer, we did pull back here, back to touch the cloud on the long-term chart, and that's kind of where we are now. That turnaround did occur early July, so a couple more weeks maybe, and we will start to see some support. But at the moment, it does look quite scary. On the weight and figure charts, of course, we are sitting right on support at the moment. And looking at silver, much the same picture there as well. Taking a look at US 10-year yields, we're sitting at 2.94%. So in bullish mode on the short-term chart, but just struggling to push much higher, sitting in those 290s. So having broken three, we just can't get back above there. Apple was up 0.4% last night. Amazon were higher as well, up nearly 1%, and Amazon's still really looking amazing on that long-term chart. Google uh, we're actually overnight we're up, and only a small amount, but probably one of the biggest stories was that Facebook broke $200 for the first time, taking it to a new all-time high. So we're seeing that breakout looking really significant, and we've got lots of upside targets still. Some into the sort of 265 area, some 30% higher. So it does look like Facebook has the potential to run even higher still. And Microsoft holding its $100 mark still, and over $100. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.